to YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. Okay, cool. We're good on everything. Hey guys, happy Sunday, everybody. It is July 18th. How is everybody doing? Hey Natalie. Hey Stephen, how are you? Hey Lisa. I'm good, Crystal. Thank you for asking. What's going on with everybody? What are you guys doing with your Sunday? Good, Natalie. It's good to hear. Am I sleepy? It's really hot here today. So I've been kind of lazy all day. It's also my day off, so I start a whole new work week tomorrow at a new job, or not a new job, but like on a new contract. So doing it for a different phone company, for a different company for phone work. So that starts tomorrow, and all last week was training for that. So these last 2 days I've been kind of like, huh. Oh, enjoy your work, Natalie. Yeah, lazy Sunday, Stephen. That's exactly how I feel. Plus this heat, it makes it all the more easy to want to be lazy, you know? I mean, I have the air on in the house, thank God. But when you go outside, it's really hot. What's everybody up to? Oh. I watched a bunch of scary movies this weekend. Like, I don't know why, but I've been kind of craving jump scares or something. I watched a movie called The Platform yesterday. I watched a movie called Hush the night before. I watched a really weird movie. Well, The Platform was kind of weird too. And then I watched a movie called The Perfection. All of these are on Netflix, and they were all kind of, I mean, Hush was a stereotypical scary movie, like where there's a man stalking a woman in a house, but she was deaf and mute, which was kind of a different twist on it, but it was pretty atypical. It was all right. It was a Netflix movie that they made in-house. And then The Perfection was really weird. It was kind of a strange, kind of kept going left, and the plot kept changing, and it was weird. But I liked The Platform. It was a Spanish film, really weird and suspenseful and kind of gross. But that's what added to the suspense of all of it. So it made me very uncomfortable while watching it. But that's usually a good sign of a film that's pretty good. If it can kind of keep you there and hold you there, that's kind of a little bit gross. So apparently I like gross Spanish cinema. I don't want to run a WebRoot diagnostics right now, thanks. Weird is in the air. For sure. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Oh, wait, what's this? Somebody wrote a big comment. Watching stuff on TV, yes, was outside. That sun is wonderful, but unless I'm submerged in water, I am staying in for most of it. Exactly. I was going to maybe go jump in the pool, but I'm like, whatever. I'm too lazy to even get in the pool. How sad is that? Hi, Jen Nichols. I got your message. I have to check that coffee thing out. I'm going to check it out and see. It sounds a little bit easier. So I may check it out and switch stuff over. We'll see. I just have to figure out how it all works. Evil on Paramount is really good. It's a series. Also a new funny show called White Lotus is really kind of awesome. I was going to check that out on HBO Max, but I haven't. I want to let a few episodes air, because if I like a show, I want to be able to watch it back to back to back. And I don't like that HBO, I mean, I guess HBO used to make you wait a week for each episode of like The Sopranos and stuff. So they have been doing this for a long time. But one thing I've noticed with HBO, I've become spoiled about, is that I like to watch the whole series. If I can sit and watch a giant chunk of it, give it to me all. I don't want to wait until next week. So I usually tend to go a little bit later to some of these other shows so that I can watch a few episodes in a chunk versus only one and then have to wait till the following week. to stay. I mean, I'm just a baby that way, I guess. I'm even like, I find that I'm trying to get into the new Big Brother for this summer, and I'm kind of not feeling it. And I think it's because I have to wait, like, for the next episode, the next episode, the next episode. Hey, Karen, how are you? Karen, you said what trifecta question mark today? What did that mean? I wasn't sure if you were referencing something I maybe said in the video. I couldn't remember what I had said in the video or what you were referencing, so I didn't respond. I just liked the comment, but you said what trifecta question mark, and I don't know if you were referencing that day's reading, or half the time I don't remember what I say in the dailies because I do them so early in the morning, like during my first cup of coffee, fresh out of bed kind of thing. Oh, and I watched another one today called Classic Horror Story. It was a movie by an Italian film made by Netflix, and it seemed like it was going to be good, and then it kind of didn't. It went to this other place that was sort of unexpected, but kind of dumb. So I didn't think it was that great. It could have been way better. I'm actually, right before I started to come on, I started to rewatch Army of the Dead, which is a zombie movie that Netflix made a while back, and I watched it and I enjoyed it. It's very like action-packed, kind of gory, but I'm gonna rewatch it tonight. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's Zack Snyder's film, so I'm just kind of at a lack for. I want to watch like brainless kind of. I don't know, violence. I guess violence. That's kind of what I've been watching lately, just for the last few days. Yes, 3 times showing up. Oh, was it the Five of Wands? Yeah, it shows up. Is that what you're talking about? Yes, that's what you're talking about. It shows up again for tomorrow's reading too. I know. This guy, Beth and I were talking about how bossy this deck is, because it just keeps. Actually, I think this is the second time that a card has come out 3 times in a row in this month alone. We started that with that shit. What was it? The King of Pentacles came out 3 times in a row at the very beginning of the month. And then we had the Five of Wands 3 times now at the mid-month, the 17th, 18th, and tomorrow will be the 19th. The Five of Wands is the card again. We had the King of Cups 2 days in a row. It's really weird. I don't know why. This deck is doing this. I was also telling Beth too that everything, like almost every day, with the exception of 3 days out of 19, yeah, 3 days. We had the 3 of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups. That's it. Everything else has been major arcana. Why is this web root wanting to scan my computer right now? Fucking annoying. We've had the 3 of Pentacles on the 11th, the 4 of Cups on the 12th. Beyond that, everything has been major arcana or court cards all month long with repeats. And then we've had the 5 of Wands the last 3 days that has shown up 3 days in a row. Well, it showed up this morning for tomorrow's video. Again. So, plus you notice too that whatever, like you guys are going to either watch it or you're not. The Fairy Oracle card is the same as yesterday's too. Both cards were the same as yesterday's reading, which I don't know how, because I shuffled the deck. You know, you can hear me shuffling. I shuffled the deck quite a bit. So, sort of weird. But I say something about it in tomorrow's video about how I think that the deck we're using is teaching the other deck how to be bossy. That was my feeling. I'm like, oh, great, now the other deck's going to start repeating cards? No, we're not going to have that. I have not caught up on the Handmaid's Tale. I need to get caught up on that. I need to, like that. The Handmaid's Tale to me is a different kind of scary, because it's sort of a little bit like closer to home than, you know, I would like to admit. So to me, I've been like looking, like seeking out like in your face jump scares. I've watched both the Fear Streets, there's a new trilogy that was released on Netflix called Fear Street 1994, and then Fear Street something 1977, or I don't know. And then they just released the third one of the trilogy, and they're all made within house via Netflix. And the first two were kind of enjoyable and fun. And so this third one, I don't know, it kind of got me back on that like teen horror flick thing. And sometimes I crave it because I don't know, it's like not crave it, but it's like it's exciting. You know, it's just like brainless fodder, but it like gives you a little bit of a rush or a spook, you know, a scare. Hey, Dorothy Baxter, how are you? Hey, Ashley, how are you? So, yeah, so I've just been kind of, I don't know, I've been on like scary movies lately. That and definitely like true crime. I've been watching a lot of true crime documentaries. I was watching one about a little boy that went missing in France called Who Killed Gregory. Oh, do you guys really need to do that now? Yeah, they do, apparently. And my dog, Tallulah, she's back to being really grumpy and moving really slow again. I think it's because I stopped giving her the pain medicine that the doctor had prescribed her for 30 days. And now we've like are about a week or two, maybe 10 days away from her last pill. And she's back to like moving really slow again and real like snappy. And I'm like, oh, I think she's going to need to be either on pain medicine for the rest of her life or something. I'm not sure. Hey, Mary, how are you? Ashley, it's not always been my favorite, and I've only in the last few years have I really become obsessed with true crime stuff, and I love it. I've always been a fan of documentaries. I love good documentaries about weird slices of life that I'd never otherwise be exposed to. So I've always been interested by documentaries, and true crime definitely falls in that sort of wheelhouse for me. But I've never been. Now I find it fascinating, like how they solve the crimes or how the facts unfold and how people get caught. I love all of that. Sometimes it's just interesting to watch the interviews when you don't really know who done it just yet, and you're kind of trying to guess, like, okay, who is the guilty party here? So, welcome back, Tammy. Crime Junkie is a good podcast to check out. I'll have to check it out. Merlin on Netflix. I'll check that out. Somebody told me to watch Jupiter's Legacy. They said, oh, it's so good, you should watch it. And I was going to start watching it, and then I just found out that they didn't renew it for a second season, so I'm not going to watch it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Because I don't want to get into a show that they're not. That's the problem with Netflix now. They have it sort of down to some sort of weird formula that if it's not hugely popular at the very beginning of its launch, they're just not renewing stuff. And I did that with the OA, and I loved the OA, and they gave us 2 seasons of the OA and decided not to come back for the 3rd. So I'm a little bit more cautious about what I'll start to watch, especially if it's a series. I did watch The Outsider. What do you say? Whose murder am I planning? Just joking. I don't know. I kind of was wondering, you know how they talk about how when you watch that sort of stuff, you kind of open yourself up to the possibility of it kind of happening. There's this like weird theory about manifestation and all of that. And I was wondering about watching true crime stuff. I didn't want to like being sort of weirdly like fascinated by it. Would it like bring some sort of mishap to my doorstep? And I was like, that kind of spooked me for a minute there, but I'm like, no, whatever. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I don't interact with anybody. I should be all right. And I know I'm pissed about the OA still. Like I'm still bitter. I've rewatched those 2 seasons twice past my original watching of it. And I so badly wanted, like, because I think that they had, when they pitched it to Netflix, they had 5 fully written seasons. And so I'm bitter that they never picked it up on another network. I'm angry at Netflix that Netflix canned it. And then other stuff went on to continue to be produced that was like, who's watching this shit? So you can't continue to produce the OA for us. But so if it's not like this massive hit right from the get-go, they're not gonna, And even Jupiter's Legacy was like, I feel like it was a big push to kind of become a popular show, and it just didn't take. And they instantly announced we're not renewing for season 2. Like it had only been out maybe a month, and then they made the announcement. So I don't really want to invest in it or watch it if there's not going to be a continuation. Wait, I'm missing something. Okay, Carrie. Are you calling me Carrie? Like telekinesis? Hello, I've shared but new to this. Can you tell me, is the man I love going to contact me and ask me out again? I saw him yesterday and he walked away from the bar when I said hello to him. Thank you. I'm not sure. Let's pull a card for that, Mary. I don't know who you are, but I'll just pull a yes or no card depending on what the card is that comes out. Let's just see. Why not? Hey, don't be growling over there. Sorry, that's my dog. What does Mary need to know in regards to this dude? He kind of cold-shouldered her, so let's see what's going on there. Mary's probably not even still here. Is she here? Grim Reaper. Flying murders at my class reunions. Any great ideas? Shut up, Mary. Not you, Mary, the one that I'm reading for, but Mary, the other Mary. David Mary. Let me shift cameras really quick. So here is your card. There we go. Your card is the Ace of Pentacles. This is not a bad card. Aces are usually very positive cards. To me, this card, I've even heard of this card as being known as the wedding ring card. I'm not sure what was going on with him or why he gave you the cold shoulder, but I would say that you just need to be patient. Pentacles is earth energy, so it moves a little bit slower. It's a little bit steadier, right? You have to have a little bit of faith too. Look for opportunities where you wouldn't otherwise see them. That's also an ace aspect to all of this. There is this gate in the foreground, or the background, I should say, down here, and there's a path. So it says to me, it kind of gives me this idea that it may be a timing issue and you might need to be patient. Just keep sort of hope alive, keep grounded and centered when dealing with him. Try not to get too much into your emotions or too freaked out. To me, the Pentacles energy, or the earth aspect of Pentacles is be discerning, be logical about how you're dealing with him. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like I said, I've heard this card referred to as, like, sometimes it can be a presentation of a wedding ring. I'm not saying you and Homeboy are getting married at any point in time, but that's certainly, there is this aspect to this that could indicate the beginning of a relationship. But you might have to be patient and just trust that ideally things are working out for you. They just may not be there yet, just quite yet. So like I said, look for opportunities. They may come out of nowhere. Opportunities to maybe talk to him, hang out with him, whatever, might arise, okay? That's my advice to you, Mary. I believe that was your name, Mary. Hold out hope for that booty call. Exactly. That's, what I say. I'm all for a good booty call. I don't shame or judge. If that's what you need, go get it. Get yourself some. Break yourself off some. Nothing wrong with a good booty call. As long as you don't fuck it up with a whole bunch of emotional call me's at the end of it, All right. I like Haunting at the Sea. I love that too. I did watch that, Jennifer. I love that. I was calling you Jennifer, like I'm your mom or something. Jen. I love the Haunting of the Cecil Hotel. What's really good too is, is it HBO Max, that one Follow Me Into the Dark? Have you seen that yet, Jen? You would love that if you liked the Cecil Hotel one. Follow Me Into the Dark is fucking so good. You have to see that one. I think that's what it's called. Is it called Follow Me Into the Dark? Let me grab my phone really quick. I'm going to look it up. Is it? I think that's what it's called. Follow Me Into. Oh, let me turn on a light too. Maybe it'll help. No, that's not it. That's the Death Cab for Cutie song, which I love, called "I Will Follow You." What's it? It's a. No, that's not. Hold on. Patton Oswalt's wife. Okay, that's right. Oh, interesting. They both look a lot alike. Michelle McNamara movie. I'll Be Gone in the Dark is what it's called. Hey, Melinda, how are you? I'll Be Gone in the Dark is the name of it, Jen. And it's really, really good. It's a documentary on, I want to say, HBO. He proposed to you in 2017. I'm just going back through the comments. Very interesting, Mary. I wouldn't give up hope on that. This card indicates that there could be a new beginning or some sort of turnover, but remain positive, stay open-minded and centered, grounded. Kind of don't be practical rather than trying to second guess or figure him out or make assumptions. Right? What is that phrase about when we make assumptions? I make an ass out of you and me, kind of thing. So don't do that. My mother doesn't call me on Jen. So true. I can relate, dear. Hi, Vicky. How are you? I'm going through if I haven't responded to you guys or said hello, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of trying to catch up on the comments here because I walked away to grab my phone. I'll Be Gone in the Dark. It was so good. Was it not? It was like really good. And the Night Stalker one too was also really good on Netflix. They did a documentary of the Night Stalker. There was also there was a minute there where I was watching all these serial killer documentaries recently too, because all of those were being produced. Like I'll Be Gone in the Dark came out, or somebody turned me on to it. I can't remember who, and then that led me down this road of like the Ted Bundy one, and I was just like watching serial killer shit for like a really long time. Not a really long time, but like one right after the other. I find all that stuff kind of like that true crime pulpy stuff. It's wild. It's just crazy sort of what people will do, what like lengths they will go to. Thank you, Vicky. I love all you guys too. Does anybody want to collect their charming or their reading, if they want a card reading in place of their charming? Any of the Patreon subscribers that are here tonight? Let me see. Because we're in July, so that could be Vicky. That could be Lisa. You collected your July, I guess. Jen, you haven't done your July. You don't have to, guys. Ashley, I don't have a July for you if you're still here. Tammy, I don't have a July for you. If you want to get your July reading, it's up to you. And you don't have to, guys. I can just sit here and chat with you, whatever you want. But I just want to put it out there in case you guys want to collect. You haven't, Jen. If you want to, certainly. Ashley, okay, cool. Let's get some of you guys taken care of because we're already past the midpoint of the month. So that would be great if I do get some done because I'm going to have to start to do the tarot-scopes over the next week or two, try and get those out and done. So I'm going to mark off Ashley, and I'm going to mark off Jen. Great, great. Just makes me feel like I'm getting stuff. Oh, and Vicky, perfect. Okay, cool. Great. All right, so who wants to go first out of the three of you? No, my dog is Mary. My dog is a Frenchie. One of them is a Frenchie. The other three are English bulldogs. They're all bulldogs in this house. We're a smash nose bunch in this house. Crazy, not insane. Okay, it's good. That sounds good to me already. Karen, I don't think you have. I don't have a markdown for you in July. You want to go last, Jen Nichols? Okay. Does anybody want to go first? Does anybody care? And what I want, the reason why I'm asking is because I want to know, do you guys want charmings or cards or what? Somebody has to tell me. I'm okay, Rachel. I've just been keeping, like, to be honest, I've been just sort of staying in my lane. Rachel asked, for those of you that might be watching on YouTube, how are you, Dan? You seem to disappear for a little bit. You okay? First off, I'm going to say this. I'm a Pisces, so we tend to swim away every so often. That's pretty normal. But I just I spend a lot of time alone with my animals, and that's sort of where I've been. I try and get on Sundays. I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like it's a little bit awkward when I do these lives because I feel like I'm trying to hawk my wares. And I don't know that I necessarily feel comfortable doing that. Like it's weird. Like in a perfect world, I mean, you could probably understand this being the work that you do, right? With the massage and body work that you do. It's like you want the right clients, the people that are going to come to you because they want to be with you or get something from you rather than have to push people to get some body work done. Like that's never been sort of, I think, my goal, if that makes sense. So I tend to just, lay low with the readings, I guess. I don't know. I go through cycles with it. And sometimes it's just, I just feel funny, like, because I feel like I'm trying to, I'm not trying to get anybody to buy a reading, but I don't know. These are sort of like marketing. Does that make sense? I don't know. So I sometimes disappear for a little while, or I kind of just come on Sunday, so I'm not like totally on. I mean, there's people that are on like every night, schlepping their wares. And I just want my work to stand for itself. And then those people to find me. That's kind of the, that's probably not the smartest business plan, I'll be honest. The lazy man's business plan, but that's what I do. Hey, Nate, how are you? Yeah, it's Jen says it's hard to self-promote. I believe in what I do. I like what I do. I think that I'm good at what I do. It's more like I just don't want to feel like there's enough sort of shady practices out there, especially on Facebook and whatnot, social media, where people are trying to like get people to get readings and stuff like that. And I don't want to be kind of included in that. So I'm kind of a bit reluctant to want to be on every night doing that sort of thing. Me too. I have been hermiting, no real reason why. Yes, I totally get it. I want authentic clients, not the money. That's kind of, I want the people that I'm going to like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want the money. Like I want this to be a viable business completely, but I also want to be making a positive impact in the process. I need for the people that come to me to believe in themselves and the work that's being done rather than, I don't want to be anybody's savior. That's not my job kind of thing, if that makes sense. And so that's sort of also part of it too. Money is great, but authentic clients matter to me over just staring at money. Exactly. That's why I started going back to work. And I have to say, going back to like a regularly scheduled program, so to speak, or getting up every day and going to work, even though it's only in my living room, has been kind of great. But it makes me value my time away from everybody and everything. Not you guys so much, but like just, my downtime, what card was that just fell off the deck? The Hierophant. My downtime or my opportunity to kind of be, hey guys, my opportunity to be kind of brain dead. I really value that at this point. Like when I get a day off, I just want to sit and play video games or, you know, chill out and watch horror movies or true crime stuff. I just love it. So, all right, I'm missing some of these comments. Sorry, because I'm talking too much. Let me see here. And I can switch it back so you guys can see me. I'll go back to this camera in a moment. I just feel like I'm hiding. So I'm going to try not to hide because Rachel apparently doesn't like it. All right, so I know I'm going to have to draw straws, Mary. It's like herding cats around here. So let me see. What did I miss? Money's great. I should have read that. A whirlwind of a shitstorm. Yeah. Don't even get me started on that. I don't know. Do we like this like, follow, and share down here? Because it kind of feels like, it looks like a dick going in my mouth a little bit. Like, oh. I can't believe I just did that. I was coming on for a laugh or some hope. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here, Nate. Hang out with us and hopefully I'll make you laugh. Maybe I'll just work this giant black and purple dick. All right. I really miss my dad. He died 8 years ago. I'm sorry for that loss, Mary. Hey, you guys, stop. See, she's really nasty, my female. I think she's in a lot more pain than I realized. Stop it. Leave her be. Hey, Gabriel. Hey, you gotta listen. Leave her be. She's older than you. She's not in the mood. I really miss my dad. He died 8 years ago. And today I walked the land we worked. And I'm so lonesome now. Is there any message from him or is he okay? Thank you. Mary, I did give you a little card already. So I'm gonna move on to other folks. But I'm sorry about your loss. I really am. Lisa Vanderhelm, LOL. Ashley's laughing. Good morning, Tracy, all the way on the other side of the planet. Will everyone please like this video? Yes, that's true too. Do hit the likes up. Thank you for reminding me about that, Jennifer. Or Jen, I should say. Oh my God, LMFAO. Are you guys laughing at this? Oh. Sorry for your loss, Mary. Vicky's telling you she's sorry for your loss. I still need somebody out of Ashley, Jen. Well, Jen said she wanted to go last. Ashley, Karen, Vicky, and Jen will be last. I don't know if Tammy said she wanted to collect hers, but somebody needs to step forward and say, I'll go first, please. I'm not going to just pick somebody or force somebody. And then I need to know, are we doing cards or are we doing charms for you? You just need, all right. Thank you, Ashley, for stepping up and being brave. I love that. Did you want cards or charms, Ashley? That's what I need to know from you so that I can be sort of setting up to get going. Which would you prefer? And you can choose either. Oh, did Vicky say she would go first? I missed it. I'm sorry. So Vicky can go right after Ashley. Sorry to make you wait, Vicky. Charms. All right, so let me get that set up. Okay, guys. Just be good. Don't be giving me too much trouble, okay? Just be quiet, like soft little babies. You guys, if I wasn't on camera, you guys would not be making no noise. You'd be asleep in the bed right next to me. All right. And do you have a subject matter, Ashley, that you want me to focus on? Just give me like one word. General cards for Karen, charms for Ashley, general cards for Karen. Vicky says cards, general. Okay, perfect. And then Jen's cards. So that's cool. We'll kick off with a charm reading for Ashley, and then we'll probably just switch over to cards. I've had some new things happening in the love field, so let's look at love. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to just sort of lift this up really quick. I have an E, a T, and a V. This was kind of like placed like that. It says tell you later on there. This comes to a total of 6, or the number 6. I do like that you have the rose quartz here. That would definitely associate with the 4th chakra or the heart. It would also be, just really good, loving, compassionate energy. Interesting. We have the Four of Wands, or sorry, is this the Four or the Five? Let me just double check. This is indeed the Four of Wands. It's right here in the center. The Four of Wands is interesting to have as the center of your reading. It is upside down, which to me is not a horrible thing. I think there's some kinks that might need to be worked out with said person or who this person could be. There's the Four of Wands, and I don't want to like get your hopes up or get you too super hyped or excited, but the Four of Wands can indicate like a very passionate start. It can indicate instant sort of like spiritual connection. Some people call it the soulmate card. Some people call it like the twin flame card, but I don't want to give you all of that just yet because it is upside down. And that to me doesn't feel like that's insurmountable. It's face up, right? The face of the coin is up, but the design of the coin is upside down, which says to me that there's probably some work that needs to take place between you and him, or some like ironing out of something. I'm not exactly sure what. There could be, I'm not saying that there is, but if there's in like maybe another party, or maybe you're not in the best place to have some real long-term thing, or maybe he's not. It's interesting too, because you have the rooster here, and the minute I saw it, he's upside down and face down, and the thing that flashed in my dirty mind, and I don't mean to be a pig, Ashley, but I'm like, oh, she's not getting the cock just yet, because it is a rooster. Get it? Cock. So I don't know if that's something that you can relate to, but there is a definite connection there. The rooster would also indicate good luck, or luck being on your side. With him being upside down and face down, it could mean, again, similar to this kind of being upside down to me, is that it's got the makings of something good, but something needs to be like adjusted, shifted, or changed, right? Slightly, so that you can kind of get these things into a more optimum position, so to speak, so that you can really explore this. Is there something here? Quite possibly, yes, with that Four of Wands dead in the center, right? That says to me, like, it's trying to get my attention and go like, hey, Four of Wands, like, look at me, look at me. Underneath here, let's see what this guy is. This is the, God, I can't see at all. This is the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is about hard work. It's sometimes referred to as the apprenticeship. You know, it represents apprenticeship, or doing kind of the detailed work that we need to do. When I look at this and this sort of being here in the past, to me, this could be work that you've done with yourself, for yourself, on yourself, to kind of prepare yourself maybe for what is going on with this new guy, or what's going to come in your love department. And that's no pun intended either, excuse my language. But there could be something very beneficial coming. If it's not with this gentleman, it might be with somebody else, because we see this rose quartz stone and this Eight of Pentacles. To me, it feels like the work's been done. Like this being face down feels like whatever work we had to struggle through, whatever challenges that presented them to us in our past, we have, studied or learned from them, changed in ways that are like, you know, very real. That would be that Pentacles energy. We've adopted or understood maybe what went wrong or how it went wrong, and we've kind of done the work, put in the time and the effort to really get into the details, to do that detailed work, to understand who we are. And so we might be in a place where we're ready for like something a little bit more serious, a little bit more intense. But it's not quite here yet, and I'm not sure why. We have the King of Pentacles down here. He is inverted. He's a master provider. So I like that he shows up, because this could be the guy that you're dealing with. Let's look, and we have Mary, but Mary's like face down. We have this dog. Can you guys see him? Hold on. I don't know how well you can see him. He's over on the side, and he's bouncing around, like popping up and down, like hopping. Or now he's going to lay there and pretend like he's not doing anything, because he knows the camera's on him. This is the Three of Cups. And so this is about enjoying those that you love, caring about them, celebrating them, coming together, reunion, or maybe not, I wouldn't say coupling, but definitely sort of a coming together in enjoyment and in an opportunity. Like this could be certainly like the party card in a way. Then we have the Ace of Wands. Both of these were flipped over, right? They were both face down, and Mary was sort of sitting on top of them. And what I kind of feel like that could represent, this is more the future part of whatever is going on for you in your love department. I like that the Ace of Wands is here. The Ace of Wands can indicate new passion, new desire coming to light. And the Three of Cups would definitely be sort of the emotional enjoyment and the celebration of that, right? Coming together with those that we love, spending time with them, all of that. Both of these are flipped over. And the reason why I think they're flipped over and Mary was sort of laying on top of them is because I kind of feel like Mary is you in a way, Ashley. Like you need to realize, I mean, yes, she's a religious symbol, right? But to me, she is also, not only does she, in the charm box, does she represent like sort of Mary, but she also represents sort of the divine feminine, right? All of the things that are wonderful, nurturing, powerful, spiritual about you as a woman, right? And it's like, we know these things because she's here. She's upright, right? But she's got sort of like, she's flipped over. We want to bring this stuff into our sort of, I guess, our understanding of ourselves. Does that make sense? Like, I think you already know that. You've done some of the work back here. But like, as you embrace this, will you stop humping him? You need to get like neutered. Stop it. As you bring yourself more into, sorry, I got sidetracked with the dog. As you bring yourself more into the into the future, you want to own like kind of who you are, your power, your femininity, all of that sort of stuff, right? When you own that and you kind of let her sort of prevail over this, I think that's when this Ace of Wands, this sort of new desire, and I'm not saying new from the guy that you're with, but this opportunity to sort of open up that door and to have that connection is there and ready for you, right? The enjoyment of the Three of Cups, the celebration. We already have a suitor on the board, which is the King of Pentacles. But again, he's face up, but he's upside down. So if it is this guy, if you have like a gut feeling or some sort of weird visceral sort of pull towards him, that could be this. And these two are both kind of there, but they're not quite ready yet. And the reason why I think they're not quite ready yet and why you may not be getting the lucky cock is because there's something that it's like you need to learn this about yourself, or it's not that you need to learn it, it's like you need to own it. You already know it. You knew it back here, is my feeling. And you're on the like precipice or the verge of maybe, it's like she's here and it's like she's lingering in the background. Does that make sense? Like we know it, we've touched base with it. And when we really like own it, that's when we open the door to really experience the joy, the desire, the fun, all of this opportunity that comes with these two coins underneath her, right? This says tell you later, and I think that the tell you later is indicating getting you to this point, which is in the future, of this sort of ownership of who you are and all of the like kind of power that you have. Underneath that is the word brave down here. And I think that you've been brave throughout your life probably, and this might be another period where you are having to like rely on your bravery. And what I mean by bravery is like standing in your truth. And again, this is what I'm talking about this too, with this Mary, it's about her standing in her truth. Down here is the number 7. Sevens to me in tarot always indicate like making a conscious choice. And I like that this is down in your subconscious underneath all of this activity that's happening with Mary in the future, right? So it's like almost making a conscious choice to really bring up that deeper realization or appreciation of who you are and what you have to offer. And as you do that, as you embrace that, I kind of feel like these come into play. This might go upright. He might go upright. You know, your connections with whether it's this guy or another gentleman, it sort of feels like the opportunity is there for, and when you think about the King of Pentacles, he's like sort of the king, the master provider, and then you have sort of like the divine feminine. He's like your divine masculine, and then you have the divine feminine represented in Mary, right? So that to me is a really kind of equal relationship between these two as far as the representation on the board. Does that make sense? And so having a little bit of faith in that and just trusting that it can like come to be once you've understood, like, sort of, not, well, I guess it's your importance. I don't know if the importance is the right word, but sort of your, like, if it's like this appreciation of her needs to take place for the floodgates to really open. Wait, I'm missing some of these comments. Sorry, let me see. I gotta go back. I missed some of these comments. Lisa moved over to her YouTube. Lisa, Ashley's laughing probably when I told the dog to stop humping somebody. Hello over here now. Okay, so Lisa's over on Facebook. Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. Thank you, Ashley. All right, so I'm going to clear the board and get into card readings for everybody else. With all those wands, the Ace of Wands and the Four of Wands, though, enjoy whatever you do have going right now, too. Even if it's just sort of like passionate, hot, exciting stuff, enjoy it and take it for what it's worth. And the rest will all fall into place. Okay, so Vicky's next. And I'll give you deck number 1, Vicky, deck number 2, or deck number 3. You get a choice of which deck you want me to use. Thank you, Ashley. The first one. Okay. Do you have a specific, like, one-word area you want me to focus on, or do you just want a general reading, Vicky? After Vicky will be Karen and then Jen. Because Jen wants to go last. Did Tammy leave? I guess. General. Okay, perfect. I like how cool, calm, and collected the cards feel, Vicky. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. There seems to be a definite calmness to them. I read, like, they almost feel reserved to me in a weird way. Like, I shouldn't say weird, but in a very sort of balanced way. So I hope that makes sense to you. But the shuffle feels very clean and calm. Reserved feels like a good word. Not super emotional, or doesn't feel heavy, doesn't feel like it's too fast. It feels just right, as they say in the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So let's see what we've got. We've got the Nine of Cups in the center. That would indicate sort of emotional well-being, things feeling like sort of in control, certainly emotionally. He's a little fat and sassy, especially in this deck in particular, but there's also sort of this little bit of, I wouldn't say, some people interpret him as being smug. I don't think that he's smug. I think that he's sort of proud of himself for the work that he's done. And especially in like a traditional Rider-Waite deck, this guy doesn't feel quite so smug to me. He just sort of feels like abundant, right, in his size. So I like this as your center, because it says to me, it kind of makes sense as to why I felt like everything felt very, when I was doing the shuffle, it felt very calm, cool, collected. So whatever we're doing it right emotionally. We're feeling good, we're feeling in control, or in a good place right now, right? And that's something that not only are we doing right now, but we could potentially be, pushing or creating for ourselves into the future. Underneath you or in the foundation is the moon, right? When we have the Nine of Cups, the moon would indicate sort of that kind of maybe the period previous in the past where we were feeling emotionally kind of out of whack, insecure, confused, maybe even. But finding like that voice within and trusting that, or maybe allowing that to sort of guide us through, any kind of emotional upheaval, any kind of maybe even bad dreams or mixed signals, confusion that we might have been experiencing in the past, really utilizing that, the intuitive side of ourselves or the quieter voices in our subconscious to guide us out of that maybe darker, more confusing period, has led us to this place where we've kind of have really done the work, or we have really explored maybe some of the darker stuff within our minds, our emotions, whatever, and faced it, right? If you look at this particular moon card is actually a little bit on the spooky side, because if you look in the water around this angel's feet, there's all of these sort of weird dragony creatures, which this is not necessarily a card that I associate with kind of fear, but some people do. And to me, when I look at this, it just speaks to kind of maybe there was a period in your past where you felt very alone. This moon around her head always kind of gets me, because it feels like it's her listening to maybe her higher self or her own spiritual kind of information over everything else that's being thrown in her path, right? But it's led us to a place that to me feels very good, or should feel very good. The spirit or soul card is the Two of Cups. This can be about, again, oh, I should say this too. Moon is associated with Pisces and Cancer, right? And then we have water card here. We also have the Two of Cups here. Lots of water running through the center of this reading. Let's just say that. But I don't feel like it's bad water, right? In some ways, I would think that, not that water's a bad thing, but it can be overly emotional at times, but this doesn't feel overly emotional to me. This feels very stable. This feels like it wasn't stable in the past, but in that instability, you called from deep within yourself to pull out the guidance maybe that you needed, or to listen to the guidance that you had from within that got you through the rougher times to this place where you can feel better and be more sort of stable or happy. This to me is your higher self kind of saying, good on you, right? Connect to me, love me. The Two of Cups is sort of, to me, the most romantic card of the deck, closest to the Lovers, but I oftentimes think the Two of Cups is far more romantic. When this is here in the spirit space, this to me feels like it's not necessarily like we're trying to take ourselves on a date, but it kind of has that quality. It's that sort of true, heartfelt compassion and appreciation from our soul to who we are and what we've done and what we've been through. Does that make sense? So that's why, although this is a highly watery set of cards, it's not bad by any means, because this says to me that you're just, from the work that you've done and what you've been through, you're cementing your relationship to yourself. You're finding new ways to sort of fall in love and appreciate yourself at emotional levels, if that makes sense. I hope that's the case. Now, on the outside influences, we have the Death card. So this is Scorpio. So this is all water. What the fuck? Not that all water is a bad thing, but this could be really intense. Let's just say that, Vicky. This is one of the most beautiful Death cards I've ever seen in a deck. I just want to show it to you up close, you guys. If you look at that, there's there's a little angel passing souls through that tunnel. Right? I love that. Scorpio is the sign that rules over sex, death, and transformation. The Death card, this being the one of the outside influences, I would say inevitable change is afoot for you right now. It could feel a little bit scary. It could feel a little bit bigger than maybe you would like, or than maybe you've been comfortable with in the past. But I do like that this Nine of Cups, he kind of feels like he's turned away from this Death card, in the sense that it might be going on around us. The shifts and changes might be happening for us, Vicky, or around us. But it's like we're not letting that get us down. It's kind of the feeling like he's like almost looking away from it as I'm looking at my video screen. I kind of feel like he's like, if I don't see it, it's not there. And that's fine, because death will ultimately bring us a transformation that benefits us in the long run. It's something that's inevitable. We can't escape it. There's no point in fighting it. Just let it happen and let it roll out, right? It will be transformative, and it can bring us to new, in my opinion, it can bring us to new perceptions or ways of seeing things, ways of living our life that we didn't otherwise have access to, right? So don't be surprised if things are falling away or transforming in front of you in ways that you feel like you can't control. That could feel scary, but I kind of feel like you're okay. Like, I feel like whatever you've dealt with in the past has sort of set you up for whatever's going on over here. You're going to be fine. That's sort of the gist of what I feel there. The last card is the Ace of Wands. This is a beautiful card. I haven't seen this card in a long time in this deck. If you look, there's like God reaching his hand down and tapping that triangle down there with that Ace of Wands. This could be about, certainly the wands is the element of the spirit, right? But this could be about awakening. This could be about revelation. This could be about seeing things differently because of potential loss, right? And this loss doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a loss. It could be a shift or a change where something comes to an end or something transforms in front of you and you weren't expecting it, or didn't think that that's really something that you're ready for or want. But ultimately, you have to trust that on some level. I feel like this being so big and outside of your control, and this being sort of the Ace of Wands, and we've got God reaching down in this, the very design of this card, to me, these feel like these are sort of, for lack of a better term, the universe kind of positioning you or moving you towards where you may need to be, whether you know it or not. I do feel like with all of this Cups energy through the center, especially these two, you're in a good place where you're positioned, at least like in your heart and maybe in your mind, you're in a good place to kind of make these moves right now. Although they may feel a little bit, this could be a little bit daunting, and this could be a little bit, you know, like sometimes this could come as a shock, but not necessarily a bad shock. It just could come out of the blue. Aces that have that tendency to kind of surprise the shit out of us, but this will be, I feel like, a good surprise. Ultimately, this is a good surprise too, but it's the death card, so it's, you know, sometimes we want to fear it or freak out and fight it, and it's not worth fighting. It's just let that stuff transform you emotionally, psychically, because, and the reason why I say psychically is because there's so much water, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, a lot of sort of those signs tend to be very psychic too. So trust your intuitions, especially with this moon down here too. You've learned through past hard experience how to connect to this and let this be your guide. So calling upon this when things might get a little bit rough or challenging will also assist you in moving through whatever is transforming that might feel uncomfortable, right? Now, is there anything that you want me to clarify here before I go to the outcome card, Vicki? They all 9, 10, 11. Yep, that's an 11. You're right. Now, 11 is a master number. Is there anything you want clarifications before, like any card that you want me to run clarifiers on before I go to the next, the outcome card of where this is all heading? Okay, so the outcome, and this is like potential, this is kind of where things are naturally heading, barring that nothing major changes, is the Eight of Wands. So not a bad card. Eight of Wands is that sort of spiritual fire. It is about definite movement. It is movement with a swiftness in the right direction, ideally, guided, potentially guided by whatever this message is or this awakening that comes from here, right? Whatever this sort of like epiphany, something, be prepared to maybe be inspired or hit. I don't want to say hit, but I get this kind of bolt of lightning kind of vibe from this card where it illuminates your awareness in a positive way, don't get me wrong, but it sort of opens you up and then you begin to move towards whatever this realization is, right? Eight of Wands can be a slightly, it's usually based in love, right? Because sometimes it can be a declaration of love, but I don't necessarily feel like this. I think this could be maybe you moving towards something that you care more about, or that you feel like inspired by, that you love, that you have more of a draw to than maybe you have in the past. Does that make sense? Especially with all of this kind of cups energy going on in here, all of this sort of good emotional feeling stuff. To me, you're running this stuff through even maybe more challenging outside experiences. That's going to enable you to kind of feel empowered to move forward in such a way that it's like sort of unstoppable, with a swiftness. And Wands also always associates with taking action, making choices to take action. This is one of the most sort of action-oriented Wands cards, in my opinion, as far as the forward movement of it. So if you're having, I don't necessarily know that you're having qualms about where you want to be in your life or what you want to be doing, but if you have any confusion that maybe lingered in the past, has been falling away for you, certainly emotionally, right? There's a clarity and sort of like a self-sufficiency in these two cards that I feel like you're in the process of having right now, or experiencing and living from. And in doing that, I think that you're shedding away any leftover sort of confusion and moving towards whatever it is that is going to be, and I say this potentially, there could be something that is falling away, and then something new sort of fills that space. And I know that's a very like sort of vague answer, right? But this would indicate the death or the ending of something. Certainly, that's what the death card is. It's just about endings, and everything ends. That's like a cycle, a cyclic part of life that we all have to face. So it's inescapable. But with that death or with that change comes this new opportunity, perception, awakening, information, spiritual connection, whatever this is for you, it will shine, will show up, and you'll be like, oh yes, that's where I'm going. Does that make sense? That's what I want. And you will know that very clearly, is my feeling, because there's such clarity in these two cards, because we came out of such of a place where, although we might have been uncleared for a period, right, we had to, above all, trust ourselves and harness that power from within and pull it deep up out from our subconscious, or wherever we did, our intuition, wherever we did, to get ourselves through that period. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I sound like a total like blubbering idiot. Like I'm like, these people even like, am I... Oh, good. I'm glad your left ear is ringing. That's a very good sign, because there is definite spirit stuff going on here, for sure. Okay. All right. So I am going to clear this away, and then the next person is Karen. Is Karen still here? I haven't seen her post in a minute. Karen? Miss Karen? Dorothy, if you want, these are for the Patreon subscribers. If you wanted to purchase a reading. Hey, Mary, how are you, dear? I just saw Mary Clunan walked in. You can use this link. Hey, Leslie West, how are you, dear? Oh, good, Karen here. Okay, Karen, so you have deck 1, 2, or 3. You can choose your deck. And if you want me to look at a specific area, you just give me a one-word area like love, finance, health. Although I'm not a doctor, I always have to preface that. If you ask any health questions, I'm certainly nowhere near close to a doctor. Deck number 3, okay. And do you have one area you want me to work on, or did you just want general? And please hit the like button, those of you that are watching on YouTube. It greatly helps YouTube see that people are enjoying the content, and ideally they will show my content to other viewers at some point in my life. I've been doing this now, I think like almost 3 years, and I'm still only at 500 subscribers. Well, 537, I think. General for Karen, okay. All right. So in your center, we have the Empress associated with the planet of Venus, so quite loving. Also, Venus is associated with the sign of Taurus, so she's kind of like, you know, I would say a sister or cousin to the sign of Taurus. She's not necessarily fully associated with the sign of Taurus, but she is the giver goddess, Earth Mother, right? She is connected to the idea of birth, creativity, nature. She is feminine power in all her finest glory, right? She is, to me, this is a very beautiful center to have. Things should be right on the money for you right now, I hope. I hope that you feel connected to the world around you. I hope that you feel maybe even love and compassion for those around you. Certainly she would represent that. There could be new opportunities or new ideas brewing within you that you want to bring forth at this time. I would pay attention to those things. She's obviously, you know, kind of connected to the harvest and all of those aspects of sort of the cycles of how we bring things into the world, right? And make them manifest or make them our own, right? So let's go to the other cards and we'll see what else is going on. And I might come back to her because she's a pretty powerful card to have as the center. So right now I would say, pay attention to your ideas, pay attention to your desires, pay attention to, you know, what it is you want to create and how you want to go about it, because she would be the lady to do that with, if that makes sense, right? She would be the energy or the card that you would want to begin to push that forward, right? So the next card is the Two of Wands down in the foundation. So this is from the past. Twos represent relationships to me a lot of times. The Two of Wands sometimes is about kind of planning where we want to be in the world, maybe not necessarily having all of the answers of the Wands cards. I sort of feel like the Two is the most, like the one that takes the least amount of action, even though the Wands suit is about action, right? It's about like sort of being driven by spiritual desire and making those choices and taking that action, being quick and fast like fire. But this is the one of the few cards where I sort of feel like the 2 and the 3 are where we sort of sit and wait, we ponder, we start to formulate. And again, I said that with her too. It's like, if we've got ideas percolating in our brain right now, or in our heart, her being associated with Venus, I would be paying really close attention to them and really utilizing her energy to sort of make those things more real with each day, right? Because we have this Two of Wands in the foundation, sort of, yes, it's in the past, but it's also the memory of this card or the having been through this card that is kind of driving what's going on in the now, right? This is a very much a card of beginning to like sort of put together and formulate the plan. But when we formulate that plan, it being wands, it's that sort of spiritual connection, maybe to ourselves, to our own understanding. I do feel like there might have been a period where we were a little bit confused or unsure in this Two of Wands, which is not necessarily a traditional Two of Wands interpretation, but I feel like there is a reluctance, like he's holding back as I'm looking at him. Like, it's like, is that what I really want? Am I really sure that that's the route I want to go? It's that kind of a vibe, right? But we're a little bit clear of that now with the Empress in our center in our present day world, right? We maybe had some indecision, but we sort of laid the tracks, laid the path, laid the desire in the past to bring her into being, right? And now she's here, she's ready to create exactly what we want. So what is it that we want? And then we got to commit, right? So the next card is the Spirit or Soul card. Here's our lovely friend Death again. So now I understand why some of you ladies have all come together in the room. Death is probably going to be the theme that permeates tonight. Yay. Leave it to you all to not, let's make it like a real fun night for Dan. I'm just kidding. Death, again, Scorpio, the symbol of Scorpio. It is about sex, death, and transformation. It is about inevitability. It is about major transformations taking place at probably the spiritual level. This being in this position, because this is the Spirit card position, I'm not so worried about this Death card, because it feels like this is about sort of the Spirit can handle all of that, right? Our Spirit has more sort of knowledge, awareness about, not only our, how do I want to describe this? Like, the Spirit to me has more of an awareness of sort of not only what we experience in life, but also what they're experiencing on the other side, right? Or in the spirit realm, in that higher vibration. So a Death card for the Spirit to me does not scare me at all. It makes me feel like they're like, oh yeah, we've done this before. We know this transformation needs to take place, and we know exactly why, right? So we have to allow for that transformation to take place. To me, when I see this up here, it almost reminds me of like a snake shedding its skin, right? It's not necessarily that it's a full-on death where it's an ending. What it is just like a layer being peeled back, or something being shed where it may no longer work for us. And that's okay, because we have such a nurturing mother here in the Empress that I feel really safe with her here in the center and this up in the top. It's like this has been like maybe a long time coming. Right? It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I will say this too, her being sort of loosely associated with Taurus and this being associated with Scorpio, they're also in working together, being water and earth, right? She's loosely earth, she's Venus, but Venus can work very well with whatever's going on. And so I'm not bothered by this at all. I feel like this is extremely prepare for the transformation, embrace the transformation, nurture the transformation, breastfeed that transformation if you have to, Karen. Like, that's the Empress for all intents and purposes. Like, let her just take over and be in the center of all of this, right? So the outside influences, what do we've got? We've got the Nine of Cups. Interesting, because we saw this in the other reading also. So there are some similarities between some of you ladies tonight. You guys are running some of the same energies. Nine of Cups, so this should be opportunities. Remember, this is an outside influence. So this is something that's coming towards this Empress, or this feeling of you wanting to create, wanting to nurture, wanting to make, I don't know, a better existence in some way, shape, or form for yourself. To me, this Nine of Cups would indicate that there should be opportunities or situations that that will be in alignment to whatever it is that she wants, right? Also, I'm going to say this similar to how the other reading played out with all of that water energy in Vicky's reading. This is water and this is Scorpio, which is water, right? So this transformation that's kind of based in that Scorpio energy of water energy is being met by this sort of well-being, emotional experience that could be coming at us that should, my feeling is it's going to feel good. It's going to be supportive. It's going to be nurturing, right? As you nurture yourself, the universe will nurture you, sort of thing, right? As you work through whatever the transformation is, it's going to sort of throw you, I don't know, experiences, opportunities, situations that are going to lift you up emotionally, that are going to heal you, because I think that that's something that you're doing for your own self, but this is like to offer you that support, right? So ideally, this is a very good card to have for whatever's going on here. And I think that legit, honestly, my feeling is that whatever went on in the past where you were making that decision and you weren't sure, it's like somewhere along the way you figured out that you were sure, and now you've signed up for this. And that's okay. This is okay. So don't worry. So the other outside, oh wow, okay, is the Ten of Pentacles. So this could indicate money. This could indicate abundance on a material level, definitely. This is about, could be a financial windfall. It could be a lot of different things, but ideally, whatever it is, it's going to offer you the material freedom that you can not only take care of yourself, but also those that you care about, right? And that's sort of the gist. It's like a happy family card where everybody gets what they want. Now, these are really two powerful outside influences. And with this Empress in the middle, it feels to me like she is, you know, being that association with the planet Venus and love of ourselves and love of who we are or where we're at in the present moment, we're almost attracting these beneficial cards to us. So keep that in mind as you move through like this next phase or this next period. Look for opportunities. Understand that everything that you're doing, you're creating it on some level, right? That you have the power to either nurture it or let it go, to give it life or to, you know, end its life. That would be the Death card up here too. There is this sort of, actually, now that I think about it, that didn't even occur to me. She is very much about like birth, and this is very much about death. So there is this sort of also that balance there between these two cards, right? Where they kind of like both handle one side of the spectrum. So I would say very, like, how do I want to put this? Where in your life are there things that you know need to be transformed that you're willing to let go of? And how quickly are you willing to allow for those transformations to take place? Because you're in a position where you certainly are ready for that. Because within those deaths or within those transformations, new opportunities are born. And those new opportunities are being supported by very beneficial outcomes outside of you or around you. And the faster you tap into them, the better off you're going to be. Does that make sense? That's kind of my gist for that. So do you want me to clarify any of these cards before I go to a outcome card, Karen? Whoop, whoop, death, exactly. Yay for death, bring in the new. It really is actually a release. It's not a bad card. It's just about being brave and not fighting it, right? That's to me how I view death. And the Tower is the other one that does that all the time that people freak out about. But really the Tower is just God doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves, like that we're unwilling to like make change in a certain area. So it's forced upon us. That's my feeling. But I think that you're lovingly supported through either people, relationships, certainly emotions and material things. I don't want to say things like money, but like this could be finding that material support. This could be about your friendships, you know, supporting you, and you in return are supporting them. No clarity. All right, so I'm just going to go to the outcome. The outcome is the Nine of Wands. So this is the outcome card. This card is a little bit kind of weird because he's a little bit beat up in the card, but he's all the wiser for having been beat up. My perception of this card. He's not like, it's like that, what's that phrase? Fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on, or something like shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. That's kind of this card. He's smarter and he's wiser, he's stronger. There's also a sort of an ending of a personal ending that comes with nines to me, where again, this could be the ending of whatever we're letting go of, whatever we're finally putting to bed, whatever we're finally allowing to sort of die off. And we're doing so at a very deeply profound level of this being in the spirit space, in your higher self space. So the let go is real, like for all intents and purposes. Does that make sense? It's not like something that may resurface for you or be like, oh, I thought I was over that. No, you really are over. You've learned, you will walk away having learned, and having understood why, maybe having, it's like this could also be like, to me, I'm getting this little vibe of hindsight is 2020. So sometimes when we look back at things, we'll start to understand, that's why I had to go through that, or why it went played out that way, because it taught me this. And then if Jen is still here, yeah, just a few, but you know what? You're smarter and you're protected. You're more protected and more like sort of aware with the Nine of Wands. That's my feeling there. Okay, Jen is still here. So Jen, deck 1, deck 2, or deck 3? Oh, thank you for the tip, Vicky. I just saw the tip. And I just saw your payment, Dorothy. General? Okay. Did you have a deck, though? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? That was this deck here. So this is 3. Number 2. Okay. He's what? My cat Puma is up on the TV, tapping when your hand appears on the screen. She's always listening to you. You want 3? Wait. Did you want 3, Jen? You want deck 3? This one that was just used? Well, she said 2 originally. So I'm confused, but now she just threw in 3. So I think she's switching on me. Okay, so wait, I'm confused. Then she says, LOL, sorry, you pick it up. Pick it up, it was a lag, I'll take 2. And then she goes, LOL, and then she says, yes. So one more time, sorry, thanks, 2. That looks okay. All right, we're doing deck 2 for Jen. If I have the wrong deck, Jen, just get me later. I'll take 2, I'm indecisive. Yes, all right, so let's see what's going on with Jen in deck 2. What? All right, let's see what's going on with Jen. Okay, in your center, Jen, is the Ace of Fire. So this is the Ace of Wands. The plant, this is the plant deck that I'm using with this month, the Herb Crafters Tarot. The plant is Mullein, Mullein. I don't know what that is, but anyways, I'm not going to get too caught up on that. What I feel like this is about, that sort of ideally that divine inspiration. I like that this is in your center. This could feel extremely pushed in a sense, and I mean that in a good way, as far as you should ideally be feeling inspired to create right now, to take action, to make new things happen, to open up new doors or create new avenues for yourself. When you say love and family, I want to see what the rest of the cards are, but I feel like this is about really putting an emphasis on, sorry, the camera's out of focus, really putting an emphasis on forward movement or making things happen, like taking matters into your own hands in a positive way, right? Not taking no for an answer, feeling like what's the best way to describe it? Like on fire in a way. I mean, for lack of a better term, like inspired to kind of go out and make it happen, right? So let's look at the foundation card. This foundation card is the Hanged Man. This is weird because this is Pisces energy. This was actually, I did a reading for somebody today, and a personal reading that I videotaped and sent to them, and this was in the same position for them, with the same deck even. This is Burdock Root, but the Hanged Man is always about feeling stuck, right? Feeling in a very big way, because it's major arcana. This could have been a period in the past where you felt very stuck, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to change, not knowing, maybe what choices to make to affect the changes that you need or that you want. And I think that that's coming to an end, especially with this Ace of Wands in the center. It's like, now it's just about, okay, what do I, not even, the question isn't what do you want? It's like, okay, how the fuck am I going to make it happen? Like, we know what we want. The fire is there. It's burning in the center, right? We're done with being stuck. We've gotten some sort of an awareness. That's sort of also a trait of the Hanged Man card. We've received some sort of knowledge or wisdom from that period where we were on hold or hiatus, right? Now it's time to move forward. Now it's time to make the effort or make the change. The Spirit card is the Eight of Earth. This is turmeric, right? To me, turmeric is extremely healing, right? It is a root vegetable, which it's a root, whatever, root spice. I don't know what you would call it, but I like that it's associated with the Pentacles card, suit of the deck. The Eight of Pentacles is that apprenticeship card. It is doing that work. It is like sort of dotting our I's, crossing our T's. It is putting our sort of focus into whatever it is that we do right now as we move forward. There is this being in the spirit space and being sort of the apprenticeship card. It kind of feels like your spirit is telling you, okay, roll up your sleeves, dig in, do the work. If this is what you want, you know how to make it happen. You have the skills. You've done the apprenticeship. You know the steps to sort of take. This fire energy in the center, or this Ace of Wands, could be a little bit like kind of all over the place, or a little bit like we're so inspired or wanting to get it done right now that we're kind of maybe a little bit rushing. And I like this because this to me speaks to like this idea of being a little bit more balanced, or to kind of counteract or ground some of this, the fiery energy that's in this Ace of Wands. Because not only is it Wands, but it's also the Ace of Wands, which to me, the Ace is the fastest card of any of the suits, right? In its sort of delivery, if that makes sense. So when I'm looking at this, it's like for a while we've been stuck, or we maybe been in a holding pattern. There was something we needed to learn. And if this applies to your family, maybe it does. I'm not sure, because I don't know of the specific dynamics in your family at this time. But if you felt stuck in a holding pattern in any way, shape, or form, whether it's in regards to your family or just in your life, that's about to be ending. Like it's already ended. This feels like the bull is being let out of the stall at the rodeo. And I mean that in the best way possible, right? But to me, that's kind of the energy that the Ace of Wands could have, is that sort of bucking bronco, right? That like, get out there, make it happen, push, pull, shove, whatever you need to do to make it a reality. Up here we have, again, this Eight of Pentacles is like, okay, that's all great and good, but let's be a little bit practical about it. Let's put one step in front of the other. Let's really harness the power of this inspiration to sort of move us forward in a way that does give us like palpable, real results. Does that make sense? And so if you can apply what I've said to your family, please do so. I think that all of this is very beneficial, regardless of what situation it may apply to in your life, right? The next card is the outside influences. This is the Ace of Earth, which is nettle. I'm not mad at that with the Ace of Fire over here. This would be like the Ace of Pentacles. So this could be new opportunities in a material realm. This could even be like a new job. So if any new job offers are on the horizon, that could be this here. I want to look at the other card. If it's another ace, it's the Adalita of Air. So this is like the Knight of Swords. This could be a person, could be male, could be female. I kind of get a feeling it's more male, even though it's Adalita, which is a female, a feminine word. I feel like this is a younger male who's a bit of a thinker, obviously because it's air. It could be I feel like this person wants to help you in whatever this is. Like whatever this inspiration is. I almost get a feeling like when I'm looking at these cards and sort of what they represent, that like this is a period right now. You know, I've been saying in the daily forecast, I know you've been watching them because you've been hashtagging them, and I appreciate that. But I've been saying that it feels like there's a lot of these major cards at play, but it feels like the work is setting something up for the stage that like we're about to go into. And I feel like this is the sort of the gasoline that's going to be in your tank for the next maybe month or two, that's going to drive you towards sort of some of these things that you have been trying to put together for some time. This could be like, to me, this feels like this could be new opportunities, ideally work, money, that kind of a thing. There could be a job offer coming. I feel like this card here is somebody that helps you to sort this all out while your spirit is kind of trying to not ground you, but remind you of, you know, doing the next right thing, kind of keeping you sort of steady and on the path, on focus, doing what you need to do, helping you to maybe harness some of this energy in a productive way that puts you further down the path, probably more quickly. This here feels like somebody, you know, it's weird reading this deck because this deck is the pictures are so different, but this would be the Knight of Swords, which would be somebody that would be a bit of a thinker, somebody that would be in service to you, somebody that would be willing to assist you, help to inspire you, because air feeds fire. But I have to say this too, as I'm looking at all of these cards, I feel like this is very much your journey, your process, your experience, right? And although this person may want to help, whoever this person may be, whether it's your partner, your husband, or, you know, one of the kids, or if it's like an actual boss or something like that, I feel like their help only goes so far. The rest is left up to you, if that makes sense. And my feeling, like as I'm looking at these cards, or just kind of what I'm sensing inside of me, is that you're going to be like, you're fine. You will be fine. And the fact that this is all left up to you is a good thing. That you certainly have the drive, the energy in your center. Like, to me, this is like the fire in the pit, right? in our gut, like driving us forward, propelling us forward, making us make it happen. Do you want me to clarify any of these cards really quick, Jen? I take turmeric daily too, Lisa. They say it cures cancer even. It's crazy. And burdock root is a root. So it's funny that you have roots on either side representing. I don't know if I've ever had like actual raw turmeric. I've always had it dried, but it's really good for you. Is there any of these cards that you want me to clarify, Jen? Or do you want me to just go to the outcome card? Look at my dog's butt up there in the corner of the screen. He's got such a cute butt. That Hanged Man, what is that? Let's see. So on the Hanged Man, we have the Six of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, and the Ten of Wands. With the Six of Pentacles, to me, that's kind of about things coming, it can be things coming back into balance, or a situation that requires charity or equality. And I don't know if there was equality, or that it's sort of like something that maybe needed to take place or become more equal for you to get freed from it, or for it to change. Ultimately, like the Ten of Wands is the releasing of the burden, right? Or the letting go, the dropping, the reaching the finish line. Being maybe so sort of done with it that like you can't carry it anymore. And I wonder if the Knight of Wands is maybe sort of where the stuck part is. What I'm not sure about the Knight of Wands is if this is somebody outside of you or not. It's interesting that you have the Knight of Wands down here and the Knight of Swords up here. This would be somebody that could be not have staying power, somebody that maybe it was all about their passions, their desires, what they needed, rushing in, making decisions, doing that sort of stuff, and it maybe wasn't necessarily either the smartest of decisions or the decisions weren't necessarily very equal in a sense. Does that make sense? Or they weren't balanced? Because like the Six of Pentacles would indicate like a need of balance there, maybe to create that balance so that this knight could go out and sort of do what they wanted to do and create sort of whatever they wanted to create. You might have had to be sort of stuck. Okay, like I almost want to say, and I don't know if this is right, like in the past, maybe there's been some decisions where, say this is your husband, right? Say this Knight of Wands is your husband. He's like passionate about something, or he has to go out and make things happen and do things and whatever. And in an effort to do those things, to maintain the balance, you had to put yourself on hold, your stuff on pause to maintain this balance. And there's sort of like a shift or a trade-off that happens in the Six of Pentacles. And in the end, like where I feel like this all sort of ends is this Ten of Wands. It's like, okay, we're kind of done with this. Like, I don't want to carry this sort of burden, or I can't carry the whole burden anymore in an effort to make it so that you can do what you want to do. I need to do what I want to do because I have sort of my own desires, inspiration, things that I want. And whether this is your husband or maybe it's one of the kids, I don't know. It just sort of feels like this is somebody that maybe they got put first in an effort to maintain or keep the peace. But in doing that, you might have set yourself up to a place where you felt stuck for a minute, where you couldn't do what you needed to do or have the freedoms that you wanted to have to get where you wanted to be. It sounds like my love life. So do you see what I'm saying? But I feel like this is all in the past, right? And somewhere we made the choice to like kind of drop it. So, and if it is your love life, Jen, like the Ace of Fire or the Ace of Wands in your center is that reignition. Like it's sometimes the match to the flame, right? Like, so there could be that too shifting for you, where if you find yourself feeling a little bit more wanting to connect in that way, then by all means do it, right? Let's look to the outcome. I'm just going to give it a quick shuffle, see where this is all heading. Oh, we have that. This is that fucking card that's shown up for the last 3 days. You're the reason, Jen. You're this goddamn card. I'm just kidding. So this is the 5 of Fire. This is Black Cohosh, but this is the one that is like that whole lot of fuckery card, right? So to me, this is about like, and this might be why the Eight of Earth is here, reminding you to kind of maintain a balance. To, even though there's like a lot of fire here in the center, and yes, that's inspiration, yes, that's forward movement, yes, that's the stuff that kind of drives us forward and makes us relentless, we might want to like temper that a little bit with a little more practicality, so that we don't run into situations where we're struggling or fighting to prove our point or to plead our case or to sway others to our side, right? Or we're clashing up against them because their needs are different than what we want for ourselves, right? When we've done that in the past and we've maybe tried shutting it off or not moving at all, and that's not worked for us. So now it's like, okay, so how do I take this push, this desire, this want within me to be able to have what I want, but also meet the needs of others at the same time? And yes, there is a way to do that, right? Your soul is saying, oh, certainly there is a way to do that, but you know, it's a fine line. And so to avoid, I mean, I know that you have a lot of different personalities in your household, right? And some of them are strong. We've talked about them in other readings and stuff. So this could be just that, right? That's sort of the outcome is like, oh God, when mom wants to like go after what she wants, it's like everybody throws up a bit of a fit. And so you may have to deal with the transitions that surround that fit, right? It's funny because we've seen this card for 3 days in a row. And it's showing back up as your outcome. It's like I can't get away from this particular 5 of Wands rendition. I am the 5 of Wands. No, you're not. You're the Ace of Wands. But you might be dealing with the 5 of Wands all around you, like funky situations with wonky people that don't think much beyond themselves, right? And so that can cause like distress or struggle and infighting. And so, you know, you might have some of that to deal with, but I don't think that's gonna, like, to me, that doesn't end everything that you've got going on or the opportunities that are out there and available to you. You're welcome. All right, so Miss Dorothy, are you still here, dear? Thank you for buying a reading tonight. I appreciate it. Get that Ace of Wands, channel that energy, lady. Dorothy, deck number 1, deck number 2, or deck number 3? And then give me a subject matter if you want me to focus on a particular subject. Deck number 3, okay. General, okay, perfect. What are you guys doing? Oh, they're just fighting over bones and stuff. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you too. You know it. Get out there and channel all that inspiration. Just set fire to the house and move out. What does Dorothy need to know? Okay. In your center, we have the Magician. Nice center, actually. All about creative energy, as above, so below, making things happen, harnessing sort of the powers that be. He represents connections to all of the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water. Associated with the sign, actually, is he associated with the sign of Aquarius, or he might be associated with the planet, is it Neptune? Or Uranus. I think he's associated with Uranus, which is like the weird outlier planet anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like, we never know what Uranus has got. But anyways, he is about opportunity. He is about responsibility. Or at least this is what I'm feeling like for you, Dorothy. Is I feel like this is about us being in the driver's seat of our life right now. Us making decisions that we need to make for ourselves, and what those decisions, how they unfold, what possibilities they hold. There's a lot of opportunity with him, right? So you should feel, similar to what I was saying to Jen with that Ace of Swords or Ace of Wands, he would have a little bit of excitement to him too. Maybe not quite the passion that Jen's would have, but he would have the excitement to create, to make something new, to take responsibility for those creations, to sort of move mountains where we need to get the things to happen that we need to have happen, right? And there's also this aspect to the Magician where I feel like he doesn't necessarily, what's the word I want to say? Like, he doesn't feel any qualms about doing that, right? There should be no doubt within you at this time. Hey, you guys stop it. There should be no doubt within you right now that this is sort of like an important period or an important time to start to make decisions and take risks and enact changes and sort of like steer your own ship in a way, right? So the next card is the Foundation. So this is the 6 of Pentacles. This is similar to actually Jen's a little bit. The 6 of Pentacles is about charity, giving and receiving. It is earth element, right? But it's also about maybe not having enough at times and maybe allowing others to help us when we need it. This would be in the past for you, but it might be where you didn't have enough or didn't feel as though you have enough. You may feel as though right now, currently, that you have a potential to change that or make that different for yourself, to expand your wealth or your ability to create a happy life for yourself. And I think that that's a good thing. This is not a bad card to have in this position either, because it is a very balanced, steady card, right? It being the 6 of Pentacles. But to me, I get this, if you look very closely, this guy's handing out money to 2 people on the street that are begging. And to me, it feels like you might have been one of these 2 people on the street. Like, you might have felt like you didn't have enough in the past. And it's like, I like that you're released from that in this Magician card. Now it's like our mind is open to the possibility of new changes. And we're open to the idea of making those new changes happen for ourselves, not like expecting somebody else to make them happen for us. Does that make sense? And not to say that that's what was going on here in the past. It's just sort of back in the past, you maybe didn't even feel like you had enough or were able to even get the help that you needed. Does that make sense? And so now you're more empowered, right? You're more centered, you're more connected in a way. And there's a strength in that, okay? The next card is your higher self or spirit card. This tells me where your spirit's at. Will you guys stop? So this is like the feminine counterpart to him. Okay, so I love that we have the masculine and the feminine. We have the magician and we have the high priestess. He's card. Will you two stop? Sorry, Dorothy. You know, this is not Thunderdome. Of course, they have to do this in here. I have like 3 bedrooms. You know, anywhere else in the house they could be doing this. They have to be doing it underneath my desk. So yeah, and I wouldn't really want it any other way. I'm just a pain in the ass. All right, so we have the magician here, we have the high priestess here, the masculine, the feminine, the first card of the major arcana journey, the second card of the major arcana journey. She being up in the spiritual space makes a lot of sense. It's in perfect alignment. She also would represent that sort of secretive, spiritual knowledge, wisdom coming from on high, maybe being hard to decipher or interpret for yourself, but whatever is going on, whatever she is bringing down, i.e. like what I mean by that is whatever our own higher self is communicating to us, either through our dreams, through our intuition, through, you know, sort of our subtle inklings. Right now, we should be paying attention to it. We need to be utilizing it. I think you actually are, and I think that you're actually using some of the knowledge that you're gaining right now to help to position you into this position where she works in the background, he works in the foreground or in the front, right? She is the secrets on how to make the magic. He actually conducts the magic making. Do you see what I'm saying? So when we have these two working together, you're in a very, what I would think would be a very powerful time for, I want to say creating what you want, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, making your way to something better, to new opportunities, but you're the one creating them. You're not waiting for them to sort of show up. Does that make sense? They're definitely like almost coming from within you rather than around you. So the outside influences, we have the Two of Wands. Again, this is about wands being spiritual energy, twos being about relationships. This could be our relationship to our environment, Dorothy. And what I mean by that is like maybe you have felt in the past that you couldn't get a break. You know, we saw that a little bit in the Six of Pentacles, right? To me here, this feels like now the doors are finally starting to open. And what I mean by that is, like I said, this guy is contemplating where he wants to be in the world, what he wants to do, how he wants to make it happen. He's looking out onto the horizon. He's holding a globe in his hand. What inspires us? What sort of creates in us that, you know, excitement that we want? The universe or the outside influences are willing to show you that or allow you to have the opportunity to see that. And then you can take this magician and begin to act on that, right? To begin to create more of that, right? The options are being shown to you or the possibilities are being shown to you. And they are probably, with this card here, I would say they would probably be pretty varied and vast in a way, right? It should be rather exciting right now. And so pay attention to what's being shown to you, what's coming to you, what opportunities are coming to you, because as they arrive, you'll get to make decisions on, do I want this? Do I not? What feels right? And that's sort of that listening to this voice on high, and then the sort of, how do I want to say this? Like, I feel like this is the subconscious and this is the conscious mind working together, or the spirit and the mind kind of working together to make these things happen for ourselves. And then on the other side, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is major arcana. It's associated with the planet Jupiter, which is benefic and blessings all the way around. The Wheel of Fortune does move a little bit on the slow side, I would say, or in my interpretations of it, I feel like it can move very slowly, but it always wants to work out in our favor. We have to be willing to pay attention to the signs and symbols that are going on around us, to like acknowledge them and then to act on them or to take action. And we see that in this Two of Wands also. So I would say right now is a very important period for you to be paying attention to what's going on around you and what's being presented to you. Do not, and I'm just gonna like throw this out there, don't pay attention to the bullshit, Dorothy. Like if there's people acting sideways and being weird, don't worry, let them be weird and act sideways. It's no matter to you. You're in a place right now where I feel like you get to kind of decide where you go and how you go and when you go. And it's up to you to sort of take the opportunities that are presented to you, but they will be presented, right? If you're busy looking at somebody else and what they're doing and upset about that, and I'm not saying you're going to do that, but this is just more like a suggestion. Don't get caught up in others and their behaviors or their stuff. Let these blessings kind of come to you. Let these opportunities come to you. Trust yourself enough to know that you will make the right decisions around it. Even if it takes a little bit of time or contemplation, you certainly have the skill and the awareness and the intelligence, the spiritual connection to make these decisions. And I think that there could be some things that happen to you in the next, let's say couple of weeks or maybe months or two that could feel a little bit synchronistic. And what I mean by that is like things falling together in a way that kind of like seems kind of magical, where you're like, oh shit, how did that happen? I don't even, like, that's crazy, right? That's the Wheel of Fortune opening the fucking door for the magician and and the high priestess to walk through it, right? So I would say prepare for synchronistic and blessings on some level, but you have to also be present enough in your life to see them when they happen and be appreciative of them. And as you're appreciative of them, more of them will come, right? So let's see what did you want me to clarify any of these cards before I go to the outcome card? Hi, what are you doing? I know, I gotta take you outside in a minute. I know, you've been playing a lot. You need to probably go pee-pee. Dorothy? Bueller? Anyone? Hello? Am I not seeing her comments or something? Oh, hi. So did you need clarification on any of these cards, or did you go to the outcome? Chu-pa. No, hold on. You're just gonna wait. We're almost done. Yeah, it is an awesome reading, and I think you're in a very powerful time. So let's look at the outcome, and the outcome is the very beginning of the major arcana. Weird. So remember when I said that you have the first card and the second card of the major arcana's journey? Well, there's card number 0, which is technically the actual first card of the journey, which is the Fool. This guy's associated with the sign of Aquarius. He's new beginnings. He's new opportunities. He's basking in the light of sort of like the excitement of the new path, the new changes. He's kind of chasing after it with reckless abandon, right? He's open to all possibilities and opportunities. He's not afraid of it. That's why he's kind of called the Fool. It's not that he's a fool, but he's like, he hasn't been sort of soured in a way by fear, worry, indecision, those sort of things. And I feel like that's, as far as an outcome, this says to me that like there might be a whole new way of relating to your life that's getting ready to happen for you that should be extremely powerful and opportune. And so listen to it. The other thing about the Fool, which isn't necessarily a traditional definition of him, but I love how he's walking that path in the sense that to me, it feels like forward movement for you, with a lot of hope, a lot of optimism. These should be big changes, I feel like, in your world and in your life, especially with, I mean, out of, what is this? 6 cards, 4 are major arcana. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all majors. So these are big deal kind of cards. This is a big, maybe pivotal point for you in how you fit in your world, how you hold yourself in your world, and how your world responds to you, right? So if you've had this sort of realization, let's say, in the recent past of, kind of your worth or your ability, and it's been a positive realization, which I think that it has. That's why we see the Magician here. Trust that and continue to cultivate that, honor that, grow that within you, and see the sort of the intelligence and the skill that you have within you through this High Priestess and this Magician, and allow those to be the things that lead you or how you make your decisions, right? And then watch the opportunities that come to you. I hope to hear from you in the next few weeks if you tell me some things have shifted or changed. I'm telling you, keep an eye out for, I just get a feeling when I'm looking at these cards, because they're sort of so weirdly, like you've got the Magician, you've got the High Priestess, and the Wheel of Fortune. I get this sense that, like, be careful not be careful, but be aware and on the lookout for things kind of snapping together, where you're like, oh wow, how did that happen? Like spirit working in your life, and you picking up on it, right? And being like, oh shit, that was totally like out of this world. I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I need to eat, and I'm gonna go get the dogs out. Let me flip this camera around. I thank you so much to everybody that got readings tonight. And for all of you that watched all this entire time, I really greatly appreciate it. Please hit the thumbs up button if you're tuning in and rewatching this later. Feel free to, leave any questions, comments, whatever on the video. Thank you so much. It can do with the work. Dorothy, right now, like what I feel like with the Magician and the High Priestess there, if you want to change in your workspace, now would be the time to start to explore that. Start to explore the opportunities of what you want in your life, and then how do you begin to sort of create that for yourself. That is some of that Two of Wands energy that we saw on the outside of the reading, but it's also about kind of taking responsibility for the decisions that you make, the things that you desire, the things that you want to create, and then going about creating them. The Fool would indicate a new opportunity or something where it could be for you a whole new job. It could be for you a whole new life, where you find like the way you relate to your world is just different in a positive way. I mean that in a positive way. So, because the Fool would indicate like newness in the sense of like him being called the Fool, he could also maybe not know how to do something that could indicate to a new job or a new path in life, where we're like everything's new and exciting again, and we're optimistic about that. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. Have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. All right, I will talk to you later. And good night, everybody. Bye.